Chapter 64 Altitude Training, Sierra Nevada, 23rd of January 2010 to 13th of February 2010. Altitude training for me was a new experience. I'm still uncertain whether it was a good, worthwhile trip, or if it was just a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. In this chapter I will try to explain my ideas about the altitude experience. Sierra Nevada, Spain. I would have expected the warm sun on my back as I sunbathed on the beach, but when I woke up after a 2-hour coach drive, I realised my preconceptions were very wrong, and I realised I was standing on top of a mountain, surrounded by snow and ski slopes. Wow. Spain has always been a holiday destination for me, as I love the sun, the sea, and inevitable tan. But the views in Sierra Nevada were incredible, and even the clouds formed below the hotel. It was breathtaking. Going into the hotel, I realised it wasn't just a hotel, but more of a sports village. There were gyms, sports halls, and a 6-lane 50-metre pool. It was a wonderful place, and we, as part of the British team, had been taken here by British Swimming because of the high altitude. Altitude effects on the body. The human body can perform best at sea level, where the atmospheric pressure is 101,325 PA, or 1,013.25 millibars, or 1 atm by definition. The concentration of oxygen, O2, in sea level air is 20.9%, so the partial pressure of oxygen, PO2, is 21.136 kPa. In healthy individuals, this saturates hemoglobin, the oxygen-binding red pigment in red blood cells. Atmospheric pressure decreases exponentially with altitude, while the oxygen fraction remains constant in about 100 kilometers, so PO2 decreases exponentially with altitude as well. It is about half of its sea level value at 5,000 meters, 16,000 foot. The altitude of the Everest Base Camp, and only a third at 8,848 meters, which is 29,029 foot, the summit of Mount Everest. When PO2 drops, the body responds with altitude acclimatization. The effects of high altitude on humans are considerable. The percentage saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen determines the content of oxygen in our blood. After the human body reaches around 2,100 meters, or 7,000 foot above sea level, the saturation of oxyhemoglobin begins to plummet. However, the human body has both short-term and long-term adaptations to altitude that allows it to partially compensate for the lack of oxygen. Athletes use these adaptations to help their performance. There is a limit to the level of adaptation mountaineers refer to the altitudes above 8,000 meters, which is 26,000 foot, as the death zone, where no human body can acclimatize. Those extracts were taken from Wikipedia. I stayed in a room with Ellie Simmons, who is a wonderful roommate. We got on very well and laughed often about the smallest of things. She loves music, and we spent a lot of our free time downloading songs and then singing along to them. We also spent a lot of our time fast asleep. Ellie taught me how to download music, and I copied all my favourite songs and thanked her every time with a smile and a big hug. I see Ellie as my little superstar. On the first week, I had huge hunger pains in my stomach, as dinner was at 8 o'clock, having finished swimming at 6 o'clock. I found this hard to accommodate. On this particular day with the hunger pains, I ate the same meal as I would otherwise have done, and found the pain in my stomach so bad that I had to go see the nurse with 2 other swimmers, Ellie and Lauren. The nurse kept poking my stomach and asking if it was sore. Surely the answer was obvious. The nurse gave me some tablets saying that I had colic and told me not to drink milk and to have only small meals. Colic, I was certain, was an illness that horses got when they had knots in their stomach. Oh well, how was I supposed to keep training if I was only able to eat small meals? Well, this worked out better than anticipated, because I increased the amount of bread that I was eating, which filled me up far more. To make sure we were all still well, we had to have blood tests taken during the training camp. I am fine with blood tests, so this doesn't bother me at all, but there are a few people who are scared stiff. I tried to be really strong for everyone, informing them that the body would replace the blood that was being taken from us. The lack of oxygen in the air, because we were at 2,340 meters above sea level, was very strange. Going up steps always left Ellie Simmons and I in fits of giggles just because we got to the top of the stairs and then you had to stop and recover from the panting. We thought it was so funny that our bodies were struggling so much up steps. Our bodies and hearts were working a lot harder to transport the oxygen around the body. The body gets used to the lack of oxygen, and we produce more red blood cells, which therefore gets more oxygen to the cells. This would obviously be a positive thing for athletes. Comments from my diary. Week 1, 23rd of the 1st. Travel to Spain. I was very excited and exhilarated, as trips are something special, and I loved travelling away as part of the GB team. I was looking forward to the new feelings being on an altitude camp, and the most noticeable thing for me was that the pain I often feel in my left hand disappeared about halfway up the mountain. 24th of the 1st. People kept saying how impossible it was to breathe, and although I felt quite heavy, the breathing was fine for me. In the pool today, the swimming was easy and I enjoyed it very much. The only thing I struggled with was going up the stairs after swimming, which seemed to exhaust me very much. 25th of the 1st. I feel very strong in both sessions today, and the whole camp still had the exciting, fresh feeling with everything feeling good. 26th of the 1st. I travelled to Granada in the morning, which was very exciting. I felt very tired, and I realised what they had meant by the inability to breathe, because when we went back up the mountain, I felt heavy and dark. The pain I have in my left hand reappeared in Granada, but disappeared again on the way back up the mountain. The gym work I did was very hard, and all the work I was doing felt twice as hard as it should have done. I felt exhausted without actually doing any work. The swim sessions was very, 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 very hard. This meant that all the activities of the day had truly exhausted me. I felt annoyed that I was so tired. 27th of the 1st. Feeling tired and sore today, and when we were eating dinner I had to go to the nurse for a checkup because of excruciating pain in my stomach. This was diagnosed as colic, possibly due to the time period we had to wait after swimming, because we were given a meal at 8 o'clock. I was angry that I had fallen ill so early on in the camp, and I was very frustrated that the main meals were given to us so late. Siestas should be banned. 28th of the 1st. Felt very tired today, but the training went very well. 29th of the 1st. I swam quite well today and very much enjoyed the swimming. 30th of the 1st. Very, very, very hard session today, but I enjoyed it. The first week was very positive, and it was very motivating and exciting time. The sessions were apparently easy, but they seemed to be pretty hard in my eyes. Week 2, 1st of the 2nd. This was very, 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 very hard swimming, as the sessions seemed to have got a whole lot harder. The breathing seemed to be difficult, and the stairs proved difficult all the time. 2nd of the 2nd. I loved this session. It was very good fun, and I really enjoyed it. It was a perfect session to raise motivation and to bring my dreams closer. 3rd of the 2nd. I enjoyed this session very much. This week is very good, and all the work, although hard, is feeling worthwhile. 0402. I was full of a cold today, which annoyed me. I hate being ill, and little illnesses like a cold frustrate me. I was isolated from Ellie, which, although was peaceful, frustrated me. The illness had won, and my body had given in to a bug. 5th of the 2nd. This was a hard day because I felt so ill. I was in a very bad temper, and everything annoyed me, especially 2 swimmers who did incredibly easy sessions, while everyone else worked their socks off. They were disrupting the whole camp, because it felt as though they were skiving and having an easy time, as though they were being given special privileges for whatever reason. 6th of the 2nd. Tired. I was very tired today, and I was getting fed up with the 3x200 step test checks. 7th of the 2nd. Sunday. Day off. I felt I had a good week, but I was annoyed about the cold and the way certain people had an easy ride. I was feeling tired and a little stressed, where I felt it was almost time to go home, in my opinion, as everything seems so difficult. Week 3. 0802. I pulled something in my arm, which annoyed me. I have been hit with everything this camp, from colic to a cold, and now I have pulled something. I was very frustrated by this point, with little things stressing me out. I kicked excessively because of my pulled muscle, which, although is good for my legs, absolutely killed me. My step test was delayed. 0902. I kicked all the session again, which I enjoyed. And 1002. I started swimming again today and kept the huge proportion of kick going strong. I did a 3x200 meters set, which I was quite impressed with. 11th of the 2nd. It was a nice session today. I am getting back into the swing of things, and I'm feeling less frustrated and angry that everything had gone wrong for me. 12th of the 2nd. Max heart rate set today, which was pretty exciting, but very hard. It was a nice finish to the camp. 13th of the 2nd. Fly home today. I put one word in my diary. Relief. The trip had been good, and hopefully all the training had made us stronger and faster. But as John Atkinson says, look after the little things and the bigger things will take care of themselves. I reckon we should exclude the nuisance individuals, as they did not work hard at all, or else we're very pessimistic. Get rid of the little issues and the big training sessions will seem that much more appealing. To be back home will be exciting, as I would be able to breathe. The pain in my hand didn't return straight away. 14th of the 2nd. Valentine's Day. No comment. I know this sounds bad, but I was grateful to get home. The camp had been hard work both in and out of the pool, and everyone had started annoying me. I felt that the training helped to get me fit and strong, and that was a good thing. Week 4, 15th of the 2nd. Easy day in the pool. I felt so fast, and swimming was very enjoyable and very exciting. And again, I felt, very fast. 16th of the 2nd. I had a bad day, but I swam very well, feeling especially fast and light in the pool. 17th of the 2nd. Swimming was good today. I had a very good set, and I still felt very light and high in the water and very fast. 18th of the 2nd. I had a very hard set today, but it was fine because I was swimming so well. It was very enjoyable. The MS pain in my hand still hasn't returned since returning from the altitude tent. I am not complaining. 19th of the 2nd. I was very tired today, but I really enjoyed the session, as I still felt fast. 20th of the 2nd. I was very tired again today, and I'm feeling strong and fast. 21st of the 2nd. I stayed in bed all day today. I felt exhausted, as though I had eventually run out of power. I hate staying in bed, and the fact that I had to frustrated me immensely. I love this feeling, as I felt so fast and so light, almost as though I was flying or skimming over the top of the water. This was a wonderful week. Week 5, 22nd of the 2nd. I swam very well today. I had good times and felt very strong. 23rd of the 2nd. I had a nice session today. I'm swimming really well and feeling very fast. Felt the MS pain again in my left wrist. Shame, I was enjoying the break. 24th of the 2nd. The times just weren't there today, but the motivation was, and I felt strong, irrelevant of the times. 25th of the 2nd. I had okay sessions today. I enjoyed the swim as I always do, but I am feeling a little heavy. 26th of the 7th. Swimming was really good today, and I'm feeling positive about the competition in Sheffield. I'm interested in how fast we can go after the altitude camp. 27th of the 2nd. I had a good session today where we had to race against time to see how many 100 meters swims we could complete before we didn't make the turnaround time. I did 29, and I was very pleased with myself. The light feeling had left me, but I still felt very strong and very good, and I felt that the camp had been a success. I was really looking forward to racing in Sheffield. Week 6, 1st of the 3rd. Swam very well today and had not anticipated the speed that I achieved. I was very impressed with myself. 2nd of the 3rd. I swam well today and really enjoyed the session. 3rd of the 3rd. I swam well in the morning, but I probably pushed myself too hard, and I swam appallingly in the afternoon session and disappointed myself in the step test. 4th of the 3rd. I felt awful today and my body was shattered. I just feel drained and exhausted. 5th of the 3rd. It was a drive to Sheffield and I felt okay, neither positive nor negative about the event in Sheffield. 6th of the 3rd. I swam appalling. My MS was fighting with me and I had no speed. I felt embarrassed by my times and I was frustrated as I had expected good times and they were just not there. A disappointing finish to the camp. I had been so confident that the camp would have allowed me to swim fast in Sheffield. This week, after 2 pain-free weeks, and the pain in my hand has come back, I was amazed that it had stayed away so long. Positive and negative effects of altitude training. Positive effects. Enjoyed being on a camp. Enjoyed no distractions. Got rid of the MS pain in my hand and in my arm. Enjoyed training hard. Enjoyed trying to swim fast with no ill effects. Enjoyed something different from the normal. Enjoyed exciting to see the results. Enjoyed the textbook proves that altitude works. Exciting to be part of research. Psychologically felt I was doing something to make me faster. Negative effects. Felt awful, shattered, worn out. I felt very tired. Found going upstairs so very difficult. Frustrated. Aggravated. Overview and additional comments. Camps. I enjoyed the camp and I think it was a good training project and it helped the majority of swimmers on the camp. I feel that the camp got me a lot fitter and stronger, but I'm not sure it helped my speed in any way. The altitude camp may be a good thing to start the year when the body has just had Christmas, has eaten too much, and is feeling lazy and larger than usual. I feel that as a swimmer in Swansea, where we are generally very strong with aerobic endurance training, the altitude camp was helpful for us as it pushed us when we were feeling tired and fed up. I am not sure how often we should have an altitude camp, possibly just once a year as I found it exhausting, although I loved the feeling when I got home, light and fast. The best time to have a camp, I feel, is during the hard or aerobic cycles of the year, when the training is hard and essential, and the more effective red blood cells would help with making the hard sessions easier. I know that the altitude training is meant to make you faster, but the effects were not obvious in my case, and so I feel more testing would be useful. The research says that effects of more effective red blood cells may not be apparent after the first altitude session, and so therefore maybe I was naive in expecting the speed. I would like to try the altitude camp at least 2 more times to see and monitor the effects of more camps. The research proves that the altitude theory should work, and hence the camps will be a huge success, eventually. Tents. Altitude tents. I would like to try an altitude tent, as it would give the positive effects of altitude training without the negative ones. I think that the tent would get rid of my MS pains, proven by the majority of MS sufferers, and it would allow us to train with our home comforts to the standard that we normally hit and without the disturbances of people we don't usually train with. The tent would be very convenient and it would be interesting to see how I would cope with the tent. As the tent is a lot more user-friendly than going on an altitude camp, I think it would be beneficial to have a tent for a full month to get used to the effects, and then for 1 week during every 1 or 2 months to keep the effects going. I feel that the tent would allow you to do all the hard training without the extreme tiredness. I can only think of positive things for the tent, therefore a definite thing for the future. Conclusion. I feel that the altitude camp was a great success, even though I didn't swim as fast 3 weeks after altitude as I had predicted from the research other people had done on altitude and its effects. I find the research and the idea of altitude training very exciting, and I would love to find out more about it and be involved more with the research into altitude and the results that they have already proven. I think the altitude is definitely a thing to help us get faster in the future, and although it is expensive, I feel it is a great way to use the money. I feel that altitude can benefit us immensely in the future. After the camp, I was allowed to try an altitude tent, which proved to be a wonderful experience for me.